started a little over 3 years ago on Twitter, and I think like most people, I'd heard of it, and I thought, that sounds stupid. Why would I ever do that? Rather quickly, I, along with all the other comedians I knew, realized, hey, this is better for jokes. To be able to elicit a laugh from people in 140 characters or less is a challenge, and it's a fun one. I'm very much like a drug pusher in that I'm like trying to give people the hot, uncut jokes so that they can not pay attention to their families and stuff like that. And now I get to the point where, after having done it for a while, with 140 characters, I'll challenge myself to like even have like multiple points of view or like have like 2 twists in a tweet, so now I try to just do bonkers stuff.
And you average like 20 tweets a day, is that fair?
I do tweet a lot. I do tweet too much. Any characterization that is big.
You have a book deal with Random House.
They saw my one-man show that I did in New York, which was called Naked and Bloody, and that was about a little over 10 years ago. I had been working to quit drinking. 9 to 5, I would clock in and work at not drinking, by drinking. And I was in a car accident for which I was totally responsible. I drove into a building in Los Angeles. Nobody else was involved in the accident, but I was in a blackout, and I drove into the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power.
Wow, okay.
And I broke both my arms. This, you might be able to see, this is titanium in here, and this wrist was rebuilt, and my legs were damaged as well. So I was in jail in a wheelchair, and then had surgeries that followed, and I then was sentenced to rehab, then a sober living halfway house, and all that stuff that happened in that time was, a lot of it was funny, and so that sort of would sneak into my stand-up, and I thought, people would really laugh when I talked about that stuff. They just said, hey, write a book. And I was like, about what? And I said, whatever you want. Because like Barack Obama or Mitt Romney or whoever the hell, they put out their books, and you're like, come on, man. You're just trying to just foist your little manifesto on us. So for me, I'm trying to do the same scumbag thing that they're trying to do, but with a comedic point of view. I'm 35, which is relatively young, too young to be writing a memoir, and I'm not famous, so again, that disqualifies me for memoir, but I did have the good fortune to go through some pretty acutely interesting stuff. After my car accident, my health insurance company was like, screw you, buddy. Can I say screw you? Is
yes.
that okay? Screw
Please.
you, not F you, but screw you.
Yes.
But they said F you to me, and Blue Cross did. Anyway, and so I had to get health insurance so that I could pay, the surgery on this wrist, I paid for with 3 credit cards, okay? I was doing occupational therapy out of pocket. It was awful.
Wow.
So I had to get a job that had health insurance. So I got a job at a company that wound up inventing MySpace. I say that because they basically just copied Friendster, which at the time was the first social network, and it just sort of exploded. So I went from being literally a temp there to getting to be their director of business development and buying and selling the first ads on MySpace. I was like, what is happening? I had like a big office in a skyscraper, and by this time I got hired at other companies. So by the end of that, I was like, wow, this could totally be a living, but I'd be acutely miserable. So the whole arm of a company got shut down, of this one company that I worked at, and I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. I am a comedian right now. And I just started doing literally every night, and than any of the money that I had made, because I paid off my medical debt from having those jobs, had money in the bank, and then very quickly went to zero, then back into debt. My wife was like, what is happening?
Tell us about playing Mitt Romney on that Funny or Die skit.
Yeah, I've done Mitt Romney for them a couple of times. They asked me to come in and do another one, but I have a beard right now. Plus, I'm not an impressionist or a characterist or whatever. But with Mitt Romney, the stuff that they have him doing is so silly, and he's such a... well, he is a good speaker, but he's also sort of an empty suit, so you can just, he's easy to slide into whatever and mitt it up. talking about writing a book. You might get fat.